The first one that comes to my mind, the Wiggins family, they're on our YouTube page, but they came for an abortion on a Wednesday. They've been living together for about 10 years. They were living in a hotel. They had lost everything and came to have an abortion. One of our sidewalk counselors reached out to them. They went on the mobile unit, saw their baby, and she was just able to say, like, whatever you need, like, there's 150 plus partnering churches here in Charlotte. Like, we can help you. And so that was a Wednesday. On Thursday, they put their faith in Jesus. On Sunday, they were in church with their mentor, and that following week, they got married. And they were, they've been living together for 10 years. And so, I mean, everything just kind of like came together at once. And so, they've been to several prayer walks. Actually, Justin employs the husband in his business now. So our founder is our biggest volunteer. He's a business owner in the city. And he has people that run the business for him so that he can give his time freely to the ministry. So that's one that comes to mind. Another one that we love to share. So the manager at the abortion clinic here for 10 years, her niece came to have an abortion. She changed her mind, came out, got connected with our sidewalk team. We connected her with a mentor in a local church. They threw her a huge baby shower. And the manager of the abortion clinic showed up at that baby shower. Now, we didn't know she was the manager at the time. We just knew she was a family member. And so she saw the Church of Jesus, like, just loving on her niece and helping her with her situation. And she actually, the manager actually started sending clients out of the abortion center, telling them that they could go across the street. The people out there aren't crazy, and they would actually help them because they were helping her niece, and she was seeing it. And so she actually quit that year. On our 40th week of prayer, she walked out of the abortion clinic, gave a huge hug to one of the sidewalk ministers that was out there that day. And she actually caters events for us now. She's a chef, and so she does food for us. She's amazing. She brought us desserts yesterday, and they were amazing. So we enjoy that. But yeah, so she's not in the industry anymore. We've seen over 20, I believe 25 workers quit the abortion industry since we've started. Some other stories in New York City, our 40th week in New York City in 2019, a young 16-year-old girl showed up. There was about 400 New Yorkers standing on the sidewalk across from the Margaret Sanger Center. That's the name. Well, it was the name of their Planned Parenthood. They're trying to separate themselves from the racist background of Margaret Sanger, so they changed the name. But it's the Margaret Sanger Center on Margaret Sanger Square. And 400 New Yorkers out there praying and worshiping. The 16-year-old girl shows up. Instead of going in the building, she walks across the street into the crowd of people that are there. One of the pastor's wives, who actually survived an abortion, begins ministering to this mom. And instead of going into the Planned Parenthood, she walked back with all of the Christians that were there to the church where we start our prayer walk. They were able to minister to her. And she actually told us that one of the counselors in Planned Parenthood told her to show up on Saturday because she knew the church would be there and that the church would help her. So this is a Planned Parenthood worker pointing a client to the church. We talk about how the church has been positioned and called to we can shift the culture and stand for righteousness. And so it's an incredible illustration of, what that looks like and how that can happen. Post-abortion healing, stories of post-abortion healing, man, have just been so encouraging of, men and women who have been, bombarded with guilt and shame, don't tell anyone about their abortions. And through exposure to Love Life and hearing their pastor talk about abortion and applying the gospel and the forgiveness of Jesus specifically to the sin of abortion, which many pastors think, if I talk about abortion, I'm going to hurt people in my church. It's actually the opposite. You're going to set them free. Seeing them now sharing their stories at prayer walks, leading post-abortion Bible studies in their churches. There's so many illustrations of that. A woman, so we've just launched Love Life Southern California a few weeks ago. And one of the volunteers there had a friend, I believe, somewhere in the mid part of the country, had an abortion about 6 weeks ago, and she's been so brokenhearted. She reached out to our Restored Life coordinator. Her name is Stephanie, and Stephanie led that mom to Jesus on the phone, who reached out because of the grief of her abortion. And now she's in one of our abortion recovery groups and being ministered to. And so, guys, there's so many ripple effects that happen inside of the church and outside of the church when people are just engaging with this issue.
Subscribe to the Pro Life Guys podcast YouTube channel for more clips like this, and for full episodes of the Pro Life Guys podcast, find us on all of your favorite podcast catchers.